Let's talk about mission, a soul's mission in this lifetime or a soul's purpose. Now, not every soul has a mission every single lifetime. Some souls come and they're like, I'm just going to take a little bit of a break. This is going to be a little bit more of a holiday lifetime, meaning like no big major lessons. Others are coming because they're just having experiences that as a soul you get to grow through. I mean, that happens for us all, but some are just like, yeah, nothing major, but just I'm having experiences here to develop. This is the school of life, right? Some souls have come because they have a very, very clear mission, and they probably, as Lee Harris said, they probably wouldn't be here if they didn't have that mission. I certainly relate to that. I've always had that feeling from when I was very, very young that I'm here to have a positive effect on the masses. Masses is quite a big word, but that was kind of brought to me when I was a teenager. At the very least, I just feel like I'm here to create some kind of movement towards our remembering who we truly are. And I'm going to speak from the perspective of the soul. After 15 years of working around authenticity and coaching primarily, which I have absolutely loved, I continue to do it, but I feel like we're moving into times where it's like, if we really want to kind of go up to the next level, it is speaking in the terms of soul, because what we're remembering right now is who we truly are, that we are souls having a human experience, spirit having a human experience. It's a little bit of an experiment too, right? So if you look at the 3D world, there's a lot going on, right? If you look at just what's happening I'm not a political person, but if you look at what's going on the political stage, on the world stage, on the kind of, when I say 3D, it's like what's happening on a dense level, right? It's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of upheaval. It's a lot of dismantling. It's a lot of destruction and crumbling. And all of it is really, really necessary and appropriate. And I would say perfectly on time. It's really easy to get caught. Like if I think about, I'm going to just connect these two together. If I think about the work that I do as a coach, even though I always work very intuitively and I will connect into somebody's soul and their higher self, where a lot of the work is primarily around our belief systems, our wounding, our inner child, the certain paradigms that we're in, and there's absolute value to all of that. That, like, if I put that into the world stage, that would be, how are we relating to the politics, whether it's on the world stage, politically driven, or the politics of our family or our work or our relationships, right? It's kind of being in the real humanness of it all. So maybe I can liken it between like human and soul, right? When I do the soul work with people, it's going immediately to the soul. It's speaking directly to the soul, which will filter into the human, right? Because they have to work together. It's a partnership. Both need one another, right? The soul needs the human vessel to have this experience on earth, and the human obviously needs the soul to breathe life into itself. Otherwise it can't exist. So it's very easy to get caught in the humanness of everything, in the personality, in the ego, in the drama, in all of the stuff that's going on in the world, right? When we zoom up, when we fly up above it, and it's not to spiritually bypass, that's not what I mean, but what I mean is to come up and have a bird's eye view, to see it from our soul self. There's an understanding of how everything is perfectly orchestrated. So I'm not political. I believe that all of that is, it's a game. I think it's part of the paradigm that we've been in that is being dismantled. And in a way, for thousands of years, that has been enslaving humanity. It's one of the forms of enslavement. There's many other reasons or forms. And with that said, from the higher soul perspective, there is absolute reason for every single person and part that is playing a role, right? So Mr. T is playing a role. And what we're moving through right now is the remembering of who we truly are. So if you hate him, great. It means find your own power and your own sovereignty. If you love him, but you feel betrayed by some of the choices that he's made, great. Find your power and find your sovereignty. The whole point is that the shadow is coming up to reveal what has been under the underbelly of society, the underbelly of this realm, you could even say, of this dimension. And it has to be seen. Like, we can't do the inner work if we haven't seen our own shadow. You know, it's so important to look at our shadow, to see our wound, to face our wound with love and compassion and be the alchemists that we are. There's no bypassing here. You have to see the shit you have to plant the shit in order for the rose to grow, right? And roses have thorns. They have thorns. They have like parts where it's like, ouch, this hurts, or it's hard to look at. It's not all beautiful and puppy dog and rainbows, but at the end of that growth, there's a beautiful blossom of the rose, right? So every character right now in the third dimensional field is playing a very, very important role. But if you get caught in the argument of it, if you get caught in the sides and the division, you are still caught in the kind of very humanness of it. And it's very easy to get stuck there. And then we miss the opportunity. We miss the doorway, the portal, whatever you want to call it, to actually, like when people say ascend, it's expanding into the consciousness that we've always been, but we've been in a state of slumber for thousands of years. So looking at things from that kind of zoomed out, higher eagle's perch view of the soul self makes us understand why everything is happening the way that it's happening, right? So if you want to look at it from the micro of your personal world and your relationships, or a bit the macro of what's going on the world stage, it's very, very helpful to see through that lens. Now I want to tie back into mission. Whether you feel like you have a mission and you've got work that you're here to do, and I'm learning for myself to settle into that unapologetically, right? There's so much conditioning from not just this lifetime and not even just recent years, but also past lifetimes to like, be careful, because if you speak your truth, you're going to be burnt at the stake, right? Or if you speak your truth, you're going to be censored, you're going to be canceled, you're going to be judged. And you got to get to the point where you're like, I don't fucking care. I believe in my mission, and I'm going to let my heart be the bravest freaking thing that there is in the world. And I'm going to stay true to that. And I'm going to walk my mission. I'm going to ignite the fire under my tail to be like, right, this is what I came here to do. I'm not going to waste time anymore, because there is this feeling of like, you know what? There is no time to be wasted. I love Pam Gregory's analogy. She said, you know, we're all going to get to the destination, but some of us are in the, what does she say? Like, you know, the fast lane when you get onto like EasyJet or Ryanair, and then it's like priority, non-priority. That sounds awful because it sounds very, very hierarchical, but it's not about that. It's about, I think the point that she's making is we eventually all get on the plane. No person is going to be left behind, but it really depends on what our soul has chosen in this lifetime and what we've come in with in this lifetime. So whether you feel like you have a very strong mission that you're like, yes, this is what I'm here to do, and whatever support I need to find the courage, because it does take courage to do that, I will find that support, right? And community and collaboration, that is going to be an ongoing theme that is, I think, going to build upon itself, because that's what we're moving into, is community, collective, and the people. This is about the power of the people, right? If you don't feel like you have a very strong sense of mission or purpose, that's okay too. But what I think we are all being called towards right now is to fully embody who we are authentically, not just authentically as the human authentic self, but as the soul, the authentic soul self, you know, of like, who truly am I? Who am I, and what am I here to do? And what we're really here to do is to come back into heart, to come back into authenticity, to liberate ourselves from enslavement, to come back towards one another as a collective conscious community that supports one another instead of fighting against one another. Instead of judging each other, we support and believe in one another. And to ultimately liberate ourselves, because we're connecting to the source of who we are. And we're connecting to source consciousness of all that is, right? So in that sense, we all have a mission. And our mission is to remember. Our mission is to come back home. And home is the birthplace of where we all originated from, which is source, consciousness, love, right? There's a magic and brilliance to that, which we've so sorely forgotten because we've been severed from it, right? And we've been like, here, go into this density and go into the fear and go into the division and just spend all your time fighting against each other, and you'll forget who you truly are. And then you wonder why people are so unhappy, depressed, anxious, because we're not grounded and rooted in who we truly are. So tune into your heart and ask yourself, what is my mission? Maybe you have a grand mission, right? You have a grand vision. Maybe it's really simple of just, I'm the part that I bring light into my family. I bring awakening into my family. I bring consciousness into my family, friends, coworkers. I bring love, I bring nurture, I bring nourishment. Whatever it is that reflects our soul is going to be based in love, compassion, authenticity, integrity, truth. So whatever shape that takes, in your world, in the expression of who you uniquely, authentically are, that's beautiful and that's perfect. And that is a mighty, honorable mission to say, hey, you in there, you're not who you think you are, who you've been told to be in between the lines and to be scared and small and follow the rules and stay within the lines and stay in line. No, you're so much bigger than that. You're this beautiful, magical spirit soul that has its own unique, authentic expression, and do what makes you feel joyful and happy and what you love, because we all have our own mission. We all have our own expression and talents and gifts and what we're here to be of service, in what ways we're here to be in service to one another and to humanity and to the earth, to the beautiful earth that we are the stewards of. We need to remember to care about all of these things. So it's big times, my friends, big, big times. And so I invite you today, and you can take it or leave it, but I invite you to ask yourself, what is your mission, big or small? What gives you meaning and purpose? And it doesn't have to be some big thing that you need to get lots of accolades and success and loads of followers and likes and fuck all that bullshit. What makes your heart come alive? That's your mission. That's your mission. And then listen to that. And I really invite you, go directly to your soul. Work with your human. If you're still getting triggered, if you're still not understanding the emotional landscape of who you are and your emotional language, cultivating that emotional intelligence, do that work. It is so valuable, and I'm here to support people in that. It is so incredibly valuable and liberating. Then once you have a bit of the pathways within yourself and how you work as a human, then you go directly to soul. You go directly to soul, and that's where things can happen very quickly and very directly and very succinctly, right? And things can happen, clear things very quickly, heal things very quickly, shift perspectives very quickly. And we're moving into those times, and it's really, really exciting. We don't need to analyze it for 20 years. That's a thing of the past, right? So connect to your heart. Connect to your mission and purpose that is unique to you. Do not compare yourself to anyone else. I heard that so clearly for myself in my meditation this morning. Is like, Corinne, get in your own lane. Comparison only causes suffering. Get in your own lane. Trust your own timing. And time isn't linear anyway. That's a total illusion. But stay in your own lane. Trust your own timing. Each one of us is like a different angle of the prism, and we all have something so valuable to offer and to bring towards into this lifetime, into these epic evolutionary times. Do not underestimate the gift and the power of who you are. And even if you're just sitting in your living room on the couch like I am right now, don't underestimate your value and what you give to the people in your life, even if it's just one other person, even if it's just strangers on the street because you don't have friends and family right now. You give them a smile and you've given them light. You've given them love. You've given them the reminder of the beauty of who we are in spirit form. And that is incredibly valuable and generous. Do not underestimate the power of who you truly are. So that's it, folks. Take it or leave it as feels right for you as always, and loving you from afar. Bye.